It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You're tuning into your Feel Good Breakfast Show. This is Expresso, only on SABC3. A rather interesting chat coming up right now. We're talking about a possible holiday in space, if that is something that you've always wanted to do. Now, this morning we are joined by Ken Davidian, who's joining us all the way from Washington, D.C. this morning. Now, he is a member of the Office of Commercial Space Transportation, and he is the AST Director of Research and the Associate Editor of the New Space Journal. Now, he is the leading expert on private and public human access to space. In fact, if we all have to pull an Interstellar tomorrow and haul ourselves off this rock, Ken would probably be the go-to guy who signed the paperwork. Ken, let me shake your hand, brother. Welcome to
Thank you very much.
Welcome to South Africa.
Thank you very much. I love coming here.
Yeah, man, this is very exciting. I mean, commercial space travel. I mean, just the idea of ordinary people like, well, I wouldn't say you and me, but
well, you and me,
yeah, that would be able to experience space for what it is.
So now a lot of people don't know what commercial space is.
What exactly, when we talk about commercial space, commercial launches, what exactly is that?
Basically, we're talking about non-governmental launches. Space, typically worldwide, is run by governments. And there are about 80 launches a year that are mostly three-quarters run by governments. About 20 a year are commercial. But for the last 30 years, they've been taking bus-sized satellites and putting them into orbit to beam television signals around the world and communications around the world. But in the last 10, 15 years, smaller companies have been set up by unknowns like Jeff Bezos, the owner of Amazon.com, and Virgin Galactic's Richard Branson, setting up companies to build rocket ships and spaceships that can send you and me to space. Granted, for a very brief period of time, not into orbit necessarily, just to go up, see the blackness of the sky, see the beautiful curvature of the Earth, spend 4 or 5 minutes in weightlessness. Here's a picture of X-Corp, one of the three companies that are involved with human suborbital space transportation. And there's a lot of excitement here because in the next 10 years, there's going to be commercial operation happening, flights once a week, for these vehicles, sending people that are a little richer than me into space. But in the next 10 years after that, I believe that you and I will be able to go into space. Here's a wonderful picture of Spaceship Two under one of their powered flight tests. It's an exciting time. There's a lot of danger. I mean, there's some danger in things that happen. If things don't go 100% right, things go very, very badly. So things have got to be done properly. Safety is a #1 concern of our office. That's what our office does, is regulate safety to make sure that things are safe. But little by little, after an accident, they come back, the companies rebound, and they continue to press forward, as is happening with Virgin Galactic, as is happening with SpaceX, that just had an explosion last week. So there's a lot of excitement here because it's fun to watch an industry come out of nothing.
Now, you mentioned there's a couple of small, like you mentioned, Virgin Galactic, Amazon.com, these guys setting up their own companies, to facilitate commercial space travel. But how big is it currently? I mean, it's grown quite fast over the past number of years.
It has grown quite fast, but it takes a long time to develop these vehicles. So we're talking about initial investments of on the order of $500 million. So $500 million, so that's 5 billion rand or so. For Virgin, for Jeff Bezos's Blue Origin. So there's a lot of investment going in, a lot of time building hardware, learning how to operate the vehicles safely. And so there's a lot of manpower going in as well. But we're talking companies that at the most are 150, 250 people. SpaceX here we're seeing, they've got a larger company, about 1,500 people. They're launching 6 to 8 times a year. They're going to orbit, which is a much bigger deal. They're helping to resupply the International Space Station right now under contract to NASA. So this gets into the discussion about the government's role in helping them. What we're seeing here are some inflatable habitats and a private space station. So there's a lot of concepts out there that are actually becoming reality. People are building hardware and putting the hardware on space station for testing.
So just to wrap up quickly, how long would it be before you and I, or a family, you can take them to a trip to space? I mean, effectively.
Effectively 3 to 4 decades, I believe, is the proper time frame. A lot of people like to kick around 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 years. It tends to be more in terms of decades, but
like
still,
it's happening.
Be sure, it's happening.
You want to be sure it's safe once again. I mean,
absolutely.
I can just imagine rockets going up and coming down. Like, look, you and me, like, when you ever go, please give me a shout, man. I'm with you on that front. Thank you so much, Ken. This is incredible, man. Who knew? Like a holiday in space. I mean, it's just around the corner. Let us know what you think about that. Would you actually board one of these craft and take a look at our planet from a complete different angle?